We just had a great night of NBA basketball, man. I'm so happy that I stayed up and enjoyed a couple of these games. Total of just 5 games, so 10 teams obviously played tonight. Two of the games weren't really close, as the Rockets versus the Wizards. The Rockets win the 107-92. The Spurs ended up beating the Sacramento Kings by 20 points. 116-96, where Victor Wembanyama did his thing. He ended up with 34 points, 14 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 blocks, and a steal. 13 of 22 from the field, 6 of 12 from deep. This is the Victor Wembanyama that we have been waiting to see all year. We haven't seen that on a consistent basis. Him having his 34-point game. When what was that, against the Phoenix Suns? His first or second game against the Phoenix Suns, he had that 30-point breakout game, and that's when he really started to piece it together last year. I really hope that's what we see off of this game. Obviously, he's still great. He's still the alien. He's still a generational talent, generational player. But we just need to see it more on a consistent basis, get him more aggression when it comes to being around the rim, scoring in the paint. We don't want to see 12 three-point attempts. I'm sorry. You hit half of them, great, but you're 7'4". You don't need to be taking 12 threes. I'm sorry. Still a great game nonetheless. Harrison Barnes put up 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Julian Champagnie, he has been looking good in his starting role. Obviously, they're missing out on Jeremy Sohan, so he has to step up more with his scoring. So 13 points, 6 rebounds for him. Stephon Castle, he's been looking okay. 31 minutes this game, 10 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, and steal and a block. He didn't shoot the ball really efficiently, 4 of 11 from the field, 36%. But we have a guy like Chris Paul that can facilitate the ball and also give you a couple buckets here and there. He had 12 points, 11 assists, a nice double-double for Chris Paul. That can hold down your backcourt alongside of a guy in Victor Wembanyama that went out there and damn near gave you 40. And off the bench, Devin Vassell getting back acclimated. He'll take that starting spot from Stephon Castle sooner than later. He had 12 points in this one. Keldon Johnson also, who was once a starter, is off the bench this game as well. He had 11, and Mamu Kalashvili had 9. And then moving over to the Kings, DeMar DeRozan, 21 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal. 8 of 15 from the field. He had his only 3 that he took. DeMar DeRozan's been a very, very consistent 20-point per game scorer this season. He's looked very good in that Sacramento Kings system alongside Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox, who both also put up 23 and 24 points respectively. Sabonis also had 12 rebounds with his 23 points, 4 dimes, which is probably a season low for him, 2 steals, 11 of 19 from the field. He attempted 3 threes, which is not really a Sabonis thing, but he's probably trying to expand his game, take a few more threes this year. And then for De'Aaron Fox, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. He shot 9 of 19 from the field, 2 of 5 from deep. But then your other starters, you get a combined 7 points from Keegan Murray and Kevin Huerter. That's probably where they got hurt the most. And then off their bench, they only got 21 points amongst 4 players. So yeah, that's a 20-point loss for you there. We move over to the Rockets and the Wizards. I don't think we really have to touch much on this game. I didn't care to even watch this one. The Wizards did have 6 players scoring double digits, and then Alperen Sengun had 27 points, 17 rebounds in this game with 3 blocks. He shot 12 of 19 from the field. Jalen Green ended up with 18 points on 6 of 15. But yeah, they also had 6 players scoring double digits. So yeah, that's another basically 20-point win for you. And then the game that I couldn't tune into because I was watching a couple other games, locked into my Thunder, of course, and then I got to watch a little bit of that fourth quarter of the Bulls and Cleveland Cavaliers games, which we'll get to next. The Brooklyn Nets have been balling. I can't wait for my podcast this weekend, man. I got to do a little bit more research, get shit together. But the Brooklyn Nets been balling this year, man. I love to see it, man. Cam Thomas is one of the best ISO scorers in the game, in my opinion. I love the way that he's just able to get to any shot that he wants. I remember that shot he took against Jaylen Brown, whether it was last year or the year before, where he was not even facing the basket. He planted his feet, spun, and shot the ball, and it went in. Nothing. Oh my God, it's like the craziest basket I've ever seen a player shoot in my life. He ended up with 17 points in this one, and I think he hit the dagger to go up for game. Let me make sure I'm not just talking. I'm pretty sure he hit the big shot for them to go up in this game. And his 17 points was much needed, yeah. He hit a huge three over Jordan Hawkins. No, that's not Jordan Hawkins. That is Brandon Ingram. To go up 106 to 105 with 32 seconds left, and that was all she wrote. Cam Johnson gave them 15. All their starters scored in double digits. 15 for Cam Johnson. Zaire Williams gave them 12. Nick Claxton with 13 and 9. Also 9 boards for Williams. Cam Thomas, like I said, 17 points. He also had 7 boards, which is crazy. A 6'2" guard out there getting 7 boards. Schroeder, 14 points, 3 boards, 2 assists. Off the bench, Ben Simmons gave you 6, 5, and 12 assists with 2 steals. Ben Simmons has been silently hooping for them this year, man. If he gets back that athleticism just a little bit, and that aggression or that confidence is really what it is. He gets back that confidence a little bit. Ben Simmons can average a double-double in this league again and really, really give himself another life to his career. That's kind of what he's trying to do right now on this Brooklyn Nets team, and in the role that he's playing, I think that's just what he's going to be for the rest of his career. But in the scoring aspect, he gets that confidence back and that aggression back to where he's not afraid to take a hit, or as he gets to the free throw line, we can see a new Ben Simmons, man. And I'm waiting for him to turn that leaf. Noah Clowney, 15 points, 7 boards. Jalen Wilson, 10 points off the bench. The rookie has been hooping this year. Although he did shoot 3 of 10 from the field, he had a decent game. Brandon Ingram led the game in scoring with 24 points, 5 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 steal. He shot 10 of 24 from the field, 2 of 9 from deep. Brandon Ingram has struggled from deep. I'm not going to say has struggled from deep, but his struggles from deep does hurt the New Orleans Pelicans, especially considering they are so beat up. Trey Murphy is back, but he's just now getting back acclimated. You're missing CJ. Zion is not a stretch. He doesn't stretch the floor, but we'll count Zion. You're missing Herb Jones. Herb Jones and CJ stretching the floor in that starting lineup with Brandon Ingram. You're also missing DeJounte Murray. So there's just a lot of scoring that's missing from this team. There's also defense that's missing from this team. So I'm not too much worried about the Pelicans. They did lose this game to one of the worst teams, presumably in the league, in the Brooklyn Nets. But hell, the Brooklyn Nets took the Denver Nuggets to overtime. They even took the Boston Celtics to overtime earlier last week. So the Brooklyn Nets, like I said, have been silently hooping this year, and I'm very, very excited for to see what they're going to do, because they are in possession of their own picks this year. They basically, essentially control their own destiny to an extent. So you definitely want to be in that top 3 range for a Cooper Flag, VJ Edgecombe, Ace Bailey type of guy to bring into the franchise and build around. But the way that they're hooping early on this season, man, I don't know if or when they'll pull the plug on that. So we'll just have to wait around and see. He's messy. 17 points, 11 boards, 2 assists, a block and a steal. BJ Boston, 7 points, an off shooting night for him, 3 of 13 from the floor, but he did give you 7 boards and 10 assists. And then Jose Alvarado in his 18 minutes only gave you 3 points in that starting lineup. You got, once again, 2 guys in your starting lineup only giving you a combined 10 points, kind of like the Sacramento Kings with Kevin Huerter and Keegan Murray. That's how you lose games. Even though this was just a 2-point game, that's how you lose games right there. Off your bench, you got a lot of production. Jalen Noel gave you 11 points, 6 assists. Javonte Green gave you 8 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals. And then Jeremiah Robinson Earl, a name I never thought I would be saying, to give you quality points and quality minutes. 20 minutes, he gave you 15 points and 4 rebounds, a steal, and an assist on 6 of 9 shooting. So they got buckets from literally everybody that checked into the game. 2 points, 4 points. That's another 8 points off their bench. So everybody that checked in gave them points. Cam Thomas sealed the deal with that 3-point shot. And I want to say somebody else hit a free throw because it was 106 to 105. They ended up winning 107-105. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this. The boss. I don't I do that all the time. The Oklahoma City Thunder versus the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, I tuned into this game right at tip-off, and defense set the tone right out the gate. Got out in transition, got some early looks. Isaiah Joe was looking really good in that first quarter. I want to say he had 8 points. They played zone early and gave up a couple of early corner 3 looks to Derrick Jones Jr., which I wasn't happy about, and consequently gave up the early lead that they were building on. And Mark Daynock got out of that zone for a bit and kind of changed it up a little bit, started throwing the sporadic double teams at James Harden or whoever it may have been, bringing the ball up the court. But essentially every time Harden brought that ball up the floor in that first or second quarter, he was seeing the double team. There was even a time where he had to pause back court and pass it up to KPJ or whoever that was, because they were sending a double team, and they were just closing in on him, so he had to come up off the ball. The Clippers turned the ball over 8 times in that first quarter, including 4 of those being from Zubac. Around the 6-minute mark in the second quarter, the Thunder ended up going on a 14-5 run, turning a 32-28 deficit into a 42-37 lead. J-Dub was leading that charge. They ended up going on another run of a 16-0, not right after that one, but eventually, a couple minutes down the line, went on a 16-0 run, capitalizing on multiple turnovers from Derrick Jones Jr. and James Harden. Like I said, they were throwing those multiple bodies at him, and they led the Clippers 56-42 with 2.5 minutes left in the second. Causing turnovers and high three-point volume was the catalyst for OKC jumping out to that huge lead that they did have in that third quarter. They were by as much as 20 in this game, and for it to go down to the wire just shows how locked in Norman Powell eventually got. We'll get to him. I got a couple more things to touch on early on in this game. So in that first quarter, the Clippers shot 33% from the field to OKC's 40. Only 8 3-pointers, 3 of 8 for the Clippers to OKC. They doubled their 3-point attempts, 16 to the Clippers 8. They made 5 of them. 7 of 9 from the free throw line for the Clippers. They did not get a single free throw for the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Clippers did not commit a foul in that entire first quarter. 5 turnovers. I said 8 earlier. I meant 5 turnovers to OKC's 3, and then 4 second chance points to OKC's 7. Early on in that game, I realized how much we would miss Chet. They got 2 really, really quick buckets for Zubac at the rim, and he didn't end up scoring again until 2.5 minutes left, or around 3 minutes left in that third quarter. So that was, it is what it is. Harden was getting into the paint with ease in that first quarter. Second quarter, Chris Dunn got an offensive rebound put back. Derrick Jones Jr. got an offensive rebound. Harden got an offensive rebound. Derrick Jones Jr. offered a lot of offensive rebounds went around this game. Not saying that Chet would have negated all of them, but a really big one down the stretch was a missed free throw from Harden. They got an offensive rebound that led to a Norman Powell not wide open, but an open enough 3 for him to cash that jump late in the fourth quarter and make it a 4-point game. And we're gonna miss Chet. We are really, really gonna miss Chet a lot in these coming weeks, in these coming months. He's gonna be out for at least 2 months. But moving on to the guy, the star of the night, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man. He was unbelievable. Absolutely just doing whatever he wanted to do on the floor, whether it was at the rim, in the paint, from 3-point. On the defensive side of the ball, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander dominated this game from start to finish. In that first quarter, he had 7 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 3 or 4 from the field. Took full advantage of the mismatch of James Harden guarding him whenever he was in his face. His ability to get downhill and get to the rim is unlike any other. He got the ball in a handoff. It may have been, I don't even remember how the pass was, but the way that he hit that corner, he got around that corner so crazy. His elusiveness is ridiculous. The control of his body is insane, especially when he's in the air, whether it's on a jump shot or attempting to lay up at the rim. Defenders getting into his body, the contact doesn't matter because he just has control of his body. His balance is impeccable. Every move he makes is unlike the last, and his back is just... Am I glazing? I don't know. Am I glazing? I might be, bro. But He was smooth as hell tonight, bro. Smooth operator. As the leader of the team, he takes on that challenge of not only being great offensively, but excelling on the defensive end, and that's exactly what he did tonight. Alongside of his offensive production, he had 21 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds, 4 steals, and 2 blocks on 7 of 11 shooting, and that's just in the first half. That was just in the first half. He had 4 steals and 2 blocks, man. This dude was everywhere. He was doing everything. Hats off to Shai, man. Hats off to Shai. He balled out, man. 13 points in the third quarter, just continuing the same thing over and over, getting to his spots and getting to the line with absolute ease. A step back 3 late in the fourth quarter to go up by 6 points, and he was a maestro down the stretch, especially when you consider how many fouls he drew on jumpers, whether it was Chris Dunn or Derrick Jones Jr., them hitting his elbow. Whether he moves his arm into you or not, it was still a foul because he didn't release the ball. He can move. He's going up. His arms can go wherever. You hit his elbow, that's a foul. He got that 2, maybe even 3 times in that fourth quarter. And I'm not going to lie, they blew the whistle late on 2 of them. 2 of them, especially there was a critical one where it was like one of the last possessions of the game, and he missed it off the front of the rim. He had a double team on him, and Derrick Jones Jr. hit his elbow. He missed it off the front of the rim. Casey Wallace got the offensive rebound, but they didn't call the foul until they saw that he missed. There was a lot of that going on tonight. I wasn't a fan of it. It makes it look like they're just giving Shai fouls. I don't like that because people already get on him about the free throw baiting and stuff like that, but he knows the game. He's going to take advantage of it, and that's exactly what he was doing with the elbow foul hunting or whatever. But they were just blowing the whistle too late on it, and it looked a little fishy. But like I said, he was able to, down the stretch, be a maestro and seal that win for them. Finished the game with a career-high 45 points on 62% shooting, man. 13 of 21 from the field, 4 of 8 from deep, 15 of 16 from the line, absolutely unguardable. He also had 9 assists, 5 steals, 3 rebounds, and 2 blocks to go along with that. And then, like I said, Isaiah Joe was lighting it up from deep in that first quarter. He was getting really good shots in transition as well as within the flow of the offense. He had 8 points. He was chucking the hell out the ball, 3 of 7 from the field. But for the game, he did end up with a solid little stat line, man, when it was all said and done. 12 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. His defense was the biggest bright spot for us when it came down to it. His shooting was pretty bad tonight, 5 of 12, 2 of 8 from deep, which is what we really depend on him for, is that deep ball. But yeah, the defense was amazing from everybody. Caruso was thriving defensively and effective, scoring the ball offensively in that first half. He had 8 points. He ended up with 12 for the game. 4 of 7 from the field. He only had 1 steal, but as you know, Caruso is not a stat sheet defensive show-up kind of guy. Like his impact's not going to show up on the stat sheet. That's kind of the same thing Lou Dort went through tonight, having that assignment of James Harden. He only ended up with 2 steals, so it doesn't show. Stats don't show what he did unless you go look at James Harden's box score where he shot 5 of 15, 33% for the game. So that was the Lou Dort effect. Also on the switch, you also had Alex Caruso. Caruso even had the Zubac assignment in that fourth quarter. He was doing his thing. Zubac was 6 of 6 going into that fourth quarter. He missed his first 2 shots. Alex Caruso was the one guarding him. So just the defense, man, has been great for us, man. I thought in my video I made earlier, I was saying that we would really miss Chet, especially on the defensive side of the ball. We were historically one of the best defending teams in league history. We were on pace for that. And with Chet on the floor, we have a defensive rating of like a 93.2, something crazy. So we're definitely not going to keep up that same kind of intensity and have that same impact defensively. But when you consider the fact that J-Dub was able to keep Zubac essentially in check, and granted that may have been just the players around Zubac being boneheads and not noticing the mismatch all game and getting him the ball. Ty Lue messed up not getting him the ball earlier than late in that third quarter and forcing it in that fourth. The defense was great for us all game. Speaking of J-Dub, he ended up with 28 for the game, 6 assists, 8 rebounds, 2 steals on a really efficient 11 of 16. He really came alive in that second half, made up the difference for the Norman Powell explosion that was going on. We really needed that. He put up 19 points in that second half, so that was huge. Lou Dort hitting threes left and right, 4 of 8 for the game. 7 of 14 from the field in total. He had 19 points, and like I said, his defense, although just 2 steals, he doesn't show up in the stats. Having to lock in on Harden is hard enough, even though James Harden is not the same Harden. He was looking really good in that first quarter. I mean, really, 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 really good, outside of like the turnovers. He had been Harden so steady for the Clippers all year, like so damn steady, very comfortable in his game. 7 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists in that first quarter. He was controlling the pace of the offense. But that Thunder defense ended up catching up to him, making it tough for him to get anything going. At the half, he was 3 of 12 from the field. So he took just 3 shots in that second half. That's how flustered he was. 10 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists at the half. He picked not to mention he was in foul trouble. He picked up his 5th foul either late in the third or early in the fourth quarter. And that was, when he essentially started playing off ball to Norman Powell. I mean, rightfully so, Norman Powell went off. Like I said, James Harden didn't have the best shooting night, having Lou Dort on him, 33% from the field. He also ended up with 5 turnovers, but he did give you a near triple-double with 17 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists. The numerous bodies thrown at him throughout the game on the double teams, or whether, like I said, they were just, the Thunder can switch pretty much everything. So just off of screens, they were just switching. I saw a possession literally within 3 seconds. He got defended by 3 different players off of switches. It started with Lou Dort, then it went to Alex Caruso, then it went to Shai. It started with Casey Wallace, then it went to Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, then it went to Shai. I'm like, that's insane. Like, anybody that was going to guard him in that possession had the ability to lock him down. Whether, I'm not saying they can lock him down for a whole game, but had the ability to lock him down for that possession. That's crazy. Our defense is insane, man. Our defense is insane. And then, like I said, Norman Powell came alive in that third quarter. He had 17 points, provided the Clippers with some much needed scoring, man. He had a nasty fadeaway 3 to end the third quarter, cut the lead to 5. He was even playing decent defense up to one point. Even though he did foul out of the game, he ended up with a few steals in the process, and he absolutely went blackout mode, dropped buckets after buckets after buckets on whoever was guarding him, whether it was a fall-away jumper, a fadeaway, or just slicing through the defense and getting to the rim in the paint. Norman Powell was hooping before he fouled out. He had the hottest hand for his team. He ended up with 31 points. Like I said, he had 17 alone in that third quarter. And I'm watching this live. This is my first time seeing Norman Powell hoop like this live this year. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe the shots he was hitting, bro. That's how locked in he was. And then before, Norman Powell got his thing going, Derrick Jones Jr. was low-key keeping him afloat. If you want to keep it, if you want to, generalize it as that, keeping him afloat. He was hitting some threes and getting to the rim in that first half. He had 15 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists heading into the final quarter. Like, he was looking really, really good for them. But I just feel like the Clippers gave up a lot of drives to the rim, man. A lot of easy paint penetration, especially in that second quarter. OKC was able to score 41 points in that quarter, and they were getting whatever they wanted, whether it was in the paint or from beyond the arc. The Clippers defense just fell apart, but like I said, they were able to make that comeback and only lose this game by 6, which was impressive. Who knows what it would have been like if Norman Powell didn't foul out. But at the half, man, it wasn't looking good for the Clippers, man. 9 of 21 from deep to OKC's 12 of 29, 8 of 11 from the free throw line, and 8 of 8 for OKC. They were dominating us on the glass, 29 boards, 8 of those were offensive to our 19, which we had 5 offensive, 3 steals to our 10. They had so many turnovers in this game. What was the actual turn? At the half, they had 15 turnovers to our 6. We scored 14 points off of their turnovers. They ended up with a total of 23 turnovers for the game. That is insane. That's how you lose a basketball game. Just like that. Just turning the ball over, man. It was not good basketball for them in that first half. Like I said, Zubac was looking good for them in the back end of that game, especially in that fourth quarter. He ended up with 22 points for the game after having just 4 points through the first basically 3 quarters. So the adjustments of force feed him and get him that ball. He had a game high 14 boards and 3 blocks. They just did not pick up on that soon enough. I don't know how, but they did not pick up on that soon enough. I would be remiss if I didn't shout out the bench for the Los Angeles Clippers, man. Even though Chris Dunn almost fouled out, he played great defense all night. He also had 9 points, 8 assists, 4 boards, and then Amir Coffey got himself a few bucks as well. 13 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 4 of 8 from the field, man. Just a great night of basketball. Just a really, really great night of basketball. I wish I could have watched a little bit more. Oh, man, I did not talk about that Cavs game. Cavs 12-0, man. Cavs 12-0. I did watch that fourth quarter, but I see it. We had 25 minutes, so I'm not going to even dive into it. Just know that the Bulls really had a chance to win that game. A lot of missed opportunities down the stretch. Cavs 12-0, man. Looking good. I appreciate y'all. Definitely subscribe to the channel, like the video. We back on this grind, as y'all can see, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in. And yeah, I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.